From the Atlas Center at the University of Colorado, this is NewsTeam Boulder.
Hello and welcome to NewsTeam Boulder. I'm Shauna Barrios.
And I'm Abby Brown. In today's show, a look at identity theft and who is at risk. And the flu season lingers on and on.
On the brighter side, the Boulder International Film Festival gets underway today. We'll have a report. But our top story that has been dominating social media all morning comes out of South Africa. Oscar Pistorius, the athlete who made Olympic history as a double amputee sprinter at the London Games, is today facing murder charges. According to multiple media reports, the victim is the model Reeva Steenkamp, widely identified as Pistorius' girlfriend. CNN's Stacey Cohan has the report on the crime that has sent shockwaves across South Africa and the world of Olympic sports.
The shooting happened inside the upscale Pretoria, South Africa home of Olympian Oscar Pistorius, according to police. They say he's been charged with murder and that he and his girlfriend, Reeva Steenkamp, were the only two people in the home at the time of the shooting. In keeping with South African law, Pistorius will be named officially as the suspect when he makes a court appearance. Pistorius rose to fame during the London Olympics last year. He became the first double amputee to run in the Olympic Games. Although Pistorius failed to win a medal, his successful effort to compete in the Games made him a role model across the globe, earning him the moniker Blade Runner. He was born with a congenital abnormality and lost both his legs before he was a year old. The 26-year-old athlete had been dating model Reeva Steenkamp. Here's what South African police said today.
At this stage, we can confirm that a young woman, a 30-year-old woman, did die on the scene of gunshot wounds. A 26-year-old male has been arrested and has been charged with murder.
Police say Pistorius was the only person found at the house after the shooting. Pistorius' spokeswoman says he's, quote, assisting the police with their investigation, but there will be no further comment until matters become clearer later today. In Washington, Stacey Cohan reporting.
South African police say they plan to oppose bail when Pistorius appears in court on Friday.
Remember the age of privacy? Facebook founder Mark Zuckerberg famously claimed the era ended a few years ago. But what exactly does that mean for us? Well, one major consequence is an increase in identity theft. According to a recent research study, about 12 million Americans were victims of identity theft in 2011. As Adam Lucas reports, the practice is easier than ever thanks to policies of the very well-known social media platforms we've all come to know and love.
As social media saturation continues to grow, so does the ad revenue that sites like Facebook and Twitter haul in because outside companies use their sites for marketing and advertising. These ads are targeted towards each specific user based on personal information. Talk about the end of privacy. But here's the kicker. These social media websites encourage you to give out as much personal information as you're willing to give in order to keep the advertisement fires burning. And more users storing personal information online means more opportunities for identity thieves to access that information.
And it's a trade-off until people start leaving the company because of they're afraid of their personal information being shared or there's too much advertising, then their company can keep making more money by having more and more advertising.
With little government oversight on privacy, social networking sites are able to freely pursue their main goal of ad revenues without having to properly protect their users. For example, Instagram, which was recently acquired by Facebook, now requires users to submit a government-issued photo ID for users who forget their passwords. And who's to say that might not end up in the wrong hands?
Facebook is probably the most vulnerable. It's also the one that people, for whatever reason, tend to put most of their core information onto, so it's definitely a vulnerable point.
This rise in identity theft is largely due to the risks that social network users are exposing themselves to. A recent study showed that more than half the people using sites like Facebook or Twitter publicly share their birthday info, while others are willing to share their phone numbers. And it doesn't take much of your personal information for a thief to break in.
A good hacker, it's really easy. The challenge has often been getting just 3 identifying pieces of information together to triangulate enough to pull out of a database, but Most users on Facebook are putting 5 and 6 and 7 in one account.
While some of this information may seem a little bit unnerving, this doesn't mean that you have to go and delete all of your social media profiles and go off the grid. What it does mean, however, is that you need to be more aware and careful about the personal information that you are posting on the internet. And there are simple steps that you can take that can help you stay more protected. Don't give out your social security or driver's license information unless it's absolutely necessary. Use unique passwords for each profile. Try to avoid listing personal information that could aid hackers, such as your birth date or home address. Don't store your credit card information on these sites. And perhaps most importantly, be careful about who your friends are and only connect with those that you know and trust. As social networks expand and identity theft continues to rise, be smart about what you post to the online world, because you never know who's looking. Adam Lucas, NewsTeam Boulder.
Colorado lawmakers are taking the privacy issue seriously. They're calling for protection for social media users, specifically from employers. A bill to prohibit employers from asking prospective employees for their social media passwords is up for a hearing next week. While it would protect password privacy, it would not stop managers from viewing and possibly punishing employees for what they post on their personal sites.
Also, in the world of cyber news, President Obama will participate in a fireside hangout on Google Plus later this afternoon. The president held a similar session following his State of the Union address last January. Today's chat will be with the select individuals chosen by Google, and once again, the topics will come from the State of the Union address. If you want to see the live stream, check out the White House Google Plus page.
As of today, U.S. Airways will officially become a part of American Airlines. The boards of AMR Corp and U.S. Airways Group formally announced this morning that the two airlines will merge under the American Airlines name. The new airline is valued at $11 billion and will offer more than 6,700 flights each day.
The stranded Carnival cruise ship Triumph is being towed into port into Mobile, Alabama today. Fire broke out aboard the vessel on Sunday, leaving the ship without power, sewage, or air conditioning, turning a dream vacation into a living nightmare. Passengers found themselves waiting in long lines for limited food and bathrooms.
It was supposed to be like a little bachelorette party kind of deal, but I don't think it all turned out all that well.
The fire started in the engine room and knocked out the ship's electricity. Raw sewage and foul smells have passengers more than ready to be back on land. 3 tugboats are currently pulling the massive ship through the Gulf of Mexico. The ship is expected to arrive at 8 p.m. tonight in Mobile. Coming up after the break, how to guard against the flu.
And we'll check out this weekend's film festival right here in Boulder.
That's right. Do I look like a commingled contender to you? All I want is newspaper.
Why don't you bring that bottle over here? I won't be spitting it back at you.
All right, boy, why don't you bring that bottle over here to commingle so these boys stop bickering and ruin my night.
Flu season usually only lasts from January to May, but with over 6,000 flu hospitalizations already recorded nationwide, the Center for Disease Control is urging citizens to be proactive regarding this H5N1 flu strain. Here on the CU campus, that advice is especially important. Emma England has the story.
Lecture halls, classrooms, and dormitories all require students to be in close and constant contact with one another, giving the flu a way to be readily passed around.
I was sitting in one of my lecture halls, and the kid next to me was coughing and sneezing a lot, And then a couple days later, I got really sick. And so I decided to go to Wardenburg, and I realized I had the flu.
The CDC recently reported that this flu season is one of the worst in decades, with almost 30,000 confirmed cases in the U.S. alone. Over 10% of the 6 students that the campus clinic has seen since October tested positive for the influenza virus. The campus clinic, known as Wardenburg Health Center, is trying to stay on top of this flu season and keep the number of affected students to a minimum. Flu vaccinations started being distributed last semester.
So this year we've given out right around 2,700 from October up to the present.
But the media frenzy surrounding the flu in late December prompted students to seek out vaccines when they returned to campus.
I think there was one day in January that was completely crazy. I think we gave 250 of those shots in one day, a full 10% of what the total number that we gave in one day.
CU is well aware of the dangers surrounding close quarters like dormitories. Every dorm on campus has a policy set in place in order to contain the disease if it starts to affect residents.
You pretty much just tell them not to go to class, not to interact with anybody else on the floor, kind of just stay in their room, pretty much to tell them to quarantine themselves.
These policies are effective because it keeps sick students away from large gathering areas like dining halls and common rooms. In addition to the quarantine method, the dorms have other ways they are trying to keep their residents healthy.
There's been a big campaign around for environmental services staff and everybody else to be doing extra disinfecting for all common spaces. So even handrails on all the stairwells and doorknobs, those areas that get touched often.
All of the policies that CU dorms are implementing should help prevent the spread of the flu among those dorm-dwelling students and staff. According to the Fair and Hall director, the amount of cases of the flu on campus seem to be accelerating in recent weeks. Not touching surfaces after or before touching your own face, mouth, or nose, and carefully washing your hands on a regular basis are both good ways to stay healthy. These suggestions can also be found on the clinic's website at www.colorado.edu/healthcenter/fluinfo. In order to appropriately protect yourself and others around you, the campus urges students to adhere to the suggestions from the Wardenburg Clinic and get the flu vaccine. Emma England, NewsTeam Boulder.
Yesterday, the Colorado House Education Committee approved a bill that would ban concealed weapons on all college campuses in the state. The proposal needs another vote by another committee before the full House can make a decision on the issue tomorrow. At the state capitol, people are voicing passionate testimony on both sides of the debate. Under current law, Colorado students with concealed hand carry permits are allowed to bring weapons to campus. If the new bill passes into law, concealed weapons on Colorado campuses would become a criminal offense.
The Boulder International Film Festival kicks off tonight with the gala event at the Boulder Theater. NewsTeam's Brianne Bilbrey has a preview of what's becoming one of the hottest film festivals in the country.
Setup is up and running inside and outside the Boulder Theater and all along Pearl Street as volunteers and workers for the Boulder International Film Festival set up for this weekend, or also known as BIFF. Tonight at the Boulderado, there will be a red carpet gala starting at 5:30, along with other events before the first screening of the film at 8 p.m.
There's a red carpet tonight that's happening before the film. There are two parties that are happening over at the Rembrandt Yards behind us and the Hotel Boulderado, and people will be kind of bouncing back and forth from those two venues.
Tonight through Sunday, over 40 films will be shown at either the Boulder Theater, First United Methodist Church, and other locations, with a special guest appearance on Sunday.
The festival culminates with an appearance and a talkback with former movie star, movie director Peter Fonda.
But BIFF does more than just show films.
It is set up for sort of an après movie discussions and conversation, and really the call to action.
BIFF is named one of the top 25 coolest film festivals in the world. This is like Boulder's version of the Oscars. For more information about ticketing and scheduling, go to biff1.com. For NewsTeam Boulder, I'm Brianne Bilbrey.
It's Valentine's Day, and the stakes are higher than ever to impress that special someone with the perfect gift. A chocolate maker in Dallas is making a contour treat that is melting ladies' hearts: chocolate shoes. These edible heels are made with gourmet ingredients, and at only $32 a pair, these shoemakers can hardly fill the Valentine's Day demand.
Well, some people may love chocolate, but it might not be very big on Valentine's Day. NewsTeam's Megan Cheek hit campus to get student perspective on the holiday and found many students are solo but satisfied.
On a day where love should fill the air, we found many CU students found this day to be more bitter than sweet. Some are too busy hitting the books to focus on their relationship status.
I've got 2 exams today, so I haven't even really thought about the fact that it's Valentine's Day at all.
If you don't have a special someone this holiday, keep an eye out for students on campus who want to brighten your day.
I'm just finding random people to give, well, repurposed Christmas cards to. Maybe it'll make them a little bit happier for the rest of the day. I'd feel stoked if someone just gave me a card.
I mean, like, some people might think, oh, it's just to pick up chicks, but I mean, it was a thing just for fun, and if I do happen to pick up a chick, that's totally fine too.
Some students have advice for their less romantic peers.
They should get a girlfriend and stop running around and stop being movie. That's right.
Should be out trying to find somebody. Meet somebody at the basketball game. That's how I met my girlfriend, so.
It's just like a day of love, but like every day should be a day of love.
So if Cupid doesn't strike you with his arrow this year, don't worry because you're not alone. Megan Cheek, NewsTeam Boulder.
If you're going solo this Valentine's Day, or just looking for a fun event with your sweetie, be sure to check out some anti-Valentine's Day parties. They're happening at many Boulder hotspots, like Connor O'Neill's, the Kitchen Next Door, and Hotel Boulderado.
For Valentine's Day, the weather outside isn't exactly heartwarming.
Hopefully this weekend will bring some warmer weather. Courtney, what's on the forecast for the next few days?
Well, if we take a look outside, we can see that the snow has already started to come down. And after the break, I'll fill you on what's to expect for the weekend.
A mi Juan le cuesta mucho hacer la tarea. ¿Cómo puedo ayudar? By coming here, you're already helping. Teachers have a lot to learn from parents.
Dice que ya con venir aquí estás ayudando, que los maestros tienen mucho que aprender de ti.
By the way, he's been a little mischievous lately.
Dice que me porto requete bien.
Juan.
Hables inglés o no, debes participar en la educación de tu hijo. Aprende cómo llamando.
Only you
can prevent forest fire. And it's true. We know we can count on you to do what Rocky says.
Drown your campfires with water. Make sure it's totally wet. Then stir and drown again.
We know we can count on you to do what Rocky says.
Only you can prevent forest fires.
Hello and welcome to NewsTeam Weather. I'm Courtney Bowers. Scientists and amateur observers alike are eagerly awaiting Friday's historic flyby of asteroid 2012 D14. As it flies by, it will just miss the Earth. The 150-foot wide asteroid will only be 18,000 miles from Earth. This is the closest encounter with an asteroid of that size that researchers have ever known about in advance. But unfortunately, we won't be able to see it here in the U.S. Days of rain in Georgia have the streets of Dougherty County surrounded by rising waters. Public work crews are still working to pump out water of flooded areas. Residents of the area are used to flooding because of a nearby creek, but because of preventative measures put in place by the county, the damage was minimal. Luckily, the rain is slowing and the county can start to dry out. Snowklahoma no more. Snow fell across much of Oklahoma Tuesday, bringing needed moisture to the state. But most of the snow is expected to melt and be gone by today. Although the snow is quickly vanishing, the memory of the storm is not. With slippery conditions for motorists and pedestrians, emergency medical services responded to 24 calls regarding falls and reported 18 traffic accidents. The state reported up to 5 inches of snow on Tuesday, but luckily, clear sunny skies are in their future. Taking a look now at the national map, we have a cold front bringing snow to the Midwest, and the cold front is going to bring us here in Colorado lots of snow today. Looking across the country as well, Michigan is also having a heavy snow possible cold front. Rain is expected in Oklahoma, Indiana, and Kentucky. Florida is also going to be hit by these heavy thunderstorms as well. Taking a look now at the Colorado map, that cold front pushing through is going to bring us snow and colder temperatures to the metro area today. We can expect some mid to upper 30s, and the mountains can expect as high as 6 to 12 inches of snow. So if you have a long weekend, I suggest making your way up to the mountains and enjoying that fresh powder. Looking at the 4-day forecast now, today we have a chance of light afternoon snow, and the snow has already started to fall. We can expect up to 4 inches of snow today and a high of 28 degrees. So make sure to leave some extra time if you have plans with your special someone tonight. Tomorrow we can expect 40 degrees, cloudy and a few flurries in the morning. Looking ahead at the weekend, we have some sunny, clear skies for Saturday, a high of 54. And on Sunday, we do have a high of 57, but that wind is going to start up in the afternoon and push another storm through on Monday for us. So overall, we can expect a pretty good President's Day weekend for whatever your plans are. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Courtney.
So Blaine, what's new in sports?
Well, coming up in sports, we'll take a look at the CU-Arizona game tonight, and we have a piece on the long-standing debate of whether or not college athletes should be paid.
Listen, I know you're upset, but it was just one date. And dating's like the stock market. There's ups and downs and ups. So always buy low.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of teens in foster care who would love to put up with you.
Well, the much-anticipated rematch is finally here. Tonight, the CU men's basketball team hosts the 9th-ranked Arizona Wildcats. As most CU fans will remember, the refs waved off a buzzer-beating 3 by Sabatino Chen that would have given CU the upset of then third-ranked Arizona on January 3rd in Tucson. Replay review clearly showed that the ball left Chen's hand before time expired, but the shot was ruled no good, and they lost in overtime. Tonight, CU gets a second shot at the Cats, this time at home, where CU is 41-5 under Coach Tad Boyle. Well, last night the Nuggets were in action, and they played their final game before the All-Star break, and it ended a 4-game road trip. As you see, JaVale McGee throw down an alley-oop there, but Joe Johnson was the real story for Brooklyn, as he led a barrage of three-pointers, 16 for 27, in fact, in total, and Denver could just never get caught up as they tried to come back from 20 down in the third quarter. And then in the end, you'll see Chris Humphries, former Kim Kardashian husband, get the slam dunk there and put things away. And Brooklyn won that one by 16. It's true that some college athletes are just as well known as professional players, and in some cases even more popular. Danica Eilers takes a look at the controversial debate of how these college stars aren't reaping the same financial benefits as the pros.
This is Andre Robertson.
You talk about a rip through and a dunk right here. I mean, oh man.
If you know CU Athletics, then you know he's the talk of the town. A player on the men's basketball team, Robertson is ranked 3rd nationally in rebounds. His athletic talent has made him a celebrity, so you might think he'd be rolling in the dough. But unlike professional athletes, student athletes don't get paid at all.
It's a business, world's not fair.
The men's basketball team alone makes over $2 million a year for the university. The grand total of revenue for all of CU Athletics is over $57 million. This revenue comes from ticket sales, concessions, radio and TV royalties, public appearances, and even student fees. But student athletes who make a name for themselves and win the university big recognition can't even negotiate some form of compensation. NFL and NBA players have a way to negotiate the profits that they make from the media. College student athletes lack this representation. However, these student athletes may be one step closer to receiving some sort of compensation. In January, a federal judge in California dismissed a motion by the National Collegiate Athletic Association that attempted to prevent football and men's basketball players from legally pursuing a cut of live broadcast revenues. This lawsuit is similar to another one where UCLA basketball star Ed O'Bannon sued the NCAA in 2009 for using his likeness in commercials, video games, and television broadcasts without compensation. If these lawsuits are found in favor of the student-athletes, then the NCAA may face liability amounting to billions of dollars. Robertson says that getting a salary would be nice.
It would help out a lot, just making things easier for the athlete, just not always, struggling and trying to make ends meet, as with the stipend we get each month.
In addition to stipends amounting to just over $1,000 monthly, student-athletes also get a full scholarship, which includes their entire tuition, room and board, books, tutors, mentors, and the full complement of academic support.
That money does come back through the university, but it comes back and we spend it on support services for students, as opposed to coming back and we give each one of our athletes a check.
Despite CU's support for their athletes, Robertson wouldn't mind getting that check.
Can't really manage school, basketball, and a job at the same time. It'd be pretty hard to do it the whole year. So, that's why you have those things to help you out. So I'll definitely say it's pretty tough to do it.
But not so tough that it would undermine their passions.
I think taking players getting like actual contracts or like a salary to play would take away from like the beauty of the college game. So I think the best way to do it would be to compensate the players with like more money in their stipend checks or something like that rather than giving them the salaries.
Many projections show universities making even more money off of star teams in the future. And with players getting little but scholarship compensation, it may be that as profits rise, players are going to want a bigger share. The hearing to determine the outcome of the lawsuit is currently set for June 20th. Danica Eilers, NewsTeam Boulder.
Great piece there by Danica. Before we send you to break, we've got some great local plays out of the Here's Something You Don't See Every Day department. At Lewis Palmer High School in the Springs, home of CU's own basketball player Josh Scott, girls basketball player Anna Olsen launches the ball from the other end and doesn't quite have the strength to put it in, but gets an assist from the hardwood, and it goes in and it counts for a 3, as you see there. And then at Metro State, Colorado Mines forward Trevor Wages gets a nice pass and throws it down and brings the backboard down with him and celebrates like he's the Hulk. And that's all I'm going to have for sports today. So how to wrap it up?
All right. Thanks, Blaine. After the break, Will Ferrell has a new gig.
The odds of a child being in a fatal automobile accident are 1 in 23,000. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism? 1 in 166. The odds say it's time to listen. To learn the signs of autism, visit autismspeaks.org.
America's top dog opened the trading day this morning at the New York Stock Exchange. It's been a very exciting week for 9-year-old Banana Joe. The Affin pitcher was awarded Best in Show of the 137th Westminster Kennel Club Dog Show earlier this week.
Celebrity sightings at LA Lakers games aren't exactly big news, but one comedian's recent appearance has the nation buzzing. Check it out.
Could that be? Yes. Funny man Will Ferrell apparently decided to try his hand at being a security guard. The comedic actor made an appearance at the Los Angeles Lakers game at the Staples Center. He apparently really got into it, escorting NBA great and TNT analyst Shaquille O'Neal from the floor. Lesson here, be on your best behavior next time you're at a Lakers game.
Thank you so much for watching NewsTeam Boulder.
Don't forget to check us out on the web at newsteamboulder.org. Have a happy Valentine's Day.